Welcome to another installment of Outside the Ring. We hope you all had a great Labor Day weekend. I am Troy Austin. Jason Murphy has the day off today. He texted me earlier, said he's got a lot of stuff on his plate today. So I'm flying solo, which to me only appropriate since I was out 2 days last week and Jason filled in so graciously solo. It was the first time. This is the first time I've done it. Those 2 days last week were the first time that he's done it. So I hope I can get through this on my own. First time I've done this without Jason. So, yeah. Okay, and today, it's a slow news day. I'm not going to lie. It is a very, very slow news day in the world of wrestling, at least in the WWE. And, so I figured that today, it's just going to be a rant day. I'm just going to blow off some steam about some things in the WWE that are just angering me to no end. And the first one that I want to address, and if you're any kind of a listener to this show, you know I cannot stand Brodus Clay. I don't see what the appeal is about him. I just don't get it. Actually, along the lines of Brodus Clay, there was one news story that I did read that said Cameron, of course, we did a show on it last week, I think it was. Might have been the week before, I'm not exactly sure. But Cameron got arrested for a DUI. And I read a story that she's going to be suspended for 15 days. Why only 15? That's my question. You get guys that, break the company's wellness policy and they get a 60-day suspension. Okay. WWE has this whole be a star thing, which really, it doesn't really come into play with this, but, they're marketing towards kids. And you're going to take this person who had a 15-day, or I'm sorry, had got arrested for a DUI, and you're just going to give them a slap on the wrist and a little 15-day suspension. That's it? No. No, give her a full 60-day suspension, no pay, and be done with it. You want to set an example for your superstars and everything. That's how you do it. No matter you suspend people more than 15 days. That's half the normal suspension for a first-time wellness violation. That's 30 days automatically right there, and I'm assuming some sort of a fine, which honestly Cameron should have got to, but they're just suspending her for 15 days. And that's kind of an offshoot of what I was originally getting to that just enrages me about some of this stuff in WWE. Back to what I was saying about Brodus Clay. I just don't see the appeal to anybody. He can't wrestle. His gimmick is rehashed from about 4 or 5 other superstars. He's a mix between Flash Funk, Ernest Miller, Disco Inferno, and Alex Wright. It's terrible. And, people will say, oh, well, he appeals to the kids. The kids don't know what they want, really. The kids will enjoy anything that the WWE deems fit for them. And, after matches, Brodus brings the kids into the ring and dances with them. These kids don't, these kids are plants by the WWE, or, these kids are real fans out of the crowd, and they don't know what the hell's going on. All they know is they got this fat guy pulling them into the ring with these two women. It makes no sense. And along the lines of Cameron and Naomi, we all know WWE is PG. How is it PG that when they make their entrance, they get up on the apron and they rub their asses together? That's not PG if you ask me. That's something you would see the beautiful people, what they would have done back when they were together in TNA. It makes my head hurt. It honestly does. Moving on from that, because I've ranted on Brodus Clay tons of times before this. There's really can't really stay on that too long without already repeating myself of things that I've said in past shows. But moving on is Santino Marella. Oh my God, I'm starting to hate him more than John Cena. It's ridiculous. First of all, he was brought in when they went to Italy to face Umaga, he did a challenge to anybody in the audience. He was holding the Intercontinental title at the time. And it was just ridiculous. He was holding the Intercontinental title, and he was doing an open challenge to anybody in the arena that would dare to step to him. And of course, this was back at the time that Armando Estrada was, all that. So I liked him actually, but Umaga made this challenge. Santino Marella stepped up, and he won the belt, and he supposedly wasn't even on the WWE roster. And then he just slowly evolved over time. I could kind of tolerate him when he first came in, but nowadays he is the one, besides Brodus Clay, he is the stupidest character, gimmick, whatever you want to call it. He is the stupidest one in the company. I don't even think he knows what his gimmick is supposed to be. All he knows is that he goes out there, makes people laugh, and screws around with a sock on his hand. You're not Mick Foley. That is all that the Cobra is. It is a modern-day, rehashed Mr. Socko. And now this whole thing that he has going on with the sock, the Cobra, is infatuated with Oksana, and he apparently can't control it. This is just the WWE pandering to the kids at its lowest. There are kids out there that will look at that and be like, wait a minute, what's going on? This doesn't make any sense. I mean, this is how he lost the United States title, for God's sake. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that the belt is on somebody who's a competent wrestler and actually has some kind of a gimmick that isn't completely stupid. But I mean, dear God, how much more stupid can you get than this guy who comes out, power walks around the ring, speaks with one of the most phony accents I have ever heard, intentionally mispronounces words, and has a sock and one of the crappiest finishing moves ever. He puts the sock on his hand and hits you, he pokes you. That's it. What is there about that says good? Nothing. Nothing at all says good about Santino Marella. If Brodus Clay and Santino Marella were to drop off the face of the earth tomorrow, I wouldn't care. It just makes no sense for either of them. They're basically kind of the same character. All they're being used for is to pander to children. And the kids will bug their parents, and the parents will buy the merchandise. That's all it is. In Vince's eyes, it's all about the money. And that's it. It's gotten to the point where the WWE does not care about their actual product. They care about marketing to children and getting their parents to spend money on their garbage. I mean, for God's sake, they're selling the Cobra sleeves. Yeah, they sold replica Mr. Sockos back in the day. Okay, that's fine. But you're selling Cobra sleeves. It's one of the worst, if not the worst, finishing move in the company, if you can even consider it a finishing maneuver. It's a poke. And the commentators make me mad when they say, oh, well, it's supposed to hit a nerve. Oh, it's hitting a nerve, all right. It's hitting a nerve with me and a lot of other people because it's so bloody stupid. It doesn't make any sense for either of these two to be in the company. And Brodus, with his finishing move, isn't much better. The Ultimate Warrior did Brodus's finishing move back in the day. And the only reason they have him using it is because he's so fat and not agile that he can't do anything else. It makes no sense at all for either of these two to be in the company. Thank God for people like Damian Sandow and Antonio Cesaro who are actually, going into the ring with these two and making people see them for what they are, which is crap. So I'm going to... Okay, before I start anymore, we're going to call it a day on that note. I forgot our shameless plugs at the beginning. It's see, this is why I need Jason. I don't remember this stuff. Outside the Ring 1 on Twitter, Outside the Ring on Facebook, and email is outsidethering316@gmail.com. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna wrap it up here, because if I go on any more, I'm just gonna make myself madder. I'm already starting to feel the heat. My face is already kind of starting to turn red over all this crap. And we'll just have to see on Raw tonight what, if anything. I hope we don't see either of them, which we are. God help us. But anyways, again, I am Troy Austin for Outside the Ring. Jason Murphy will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be back on regular schedule. So until then, we will see you next time outside the ring. Deuces.